This one feels like a small child is strangling my foot the entire time.
I'm Sam Rutherford with Gizmodo. I'm the senior tech reporter, and I'm here with my terrible quarantine haircut, but we're actually here to talk about Google bringing Google Assistant support to third-party apps for the first time, really. We're here with Victoria Song, and she's going to talk about how she's been using it to start with Nike's fancy $400 sneakers.
Yeah, let's look at them. These are the Nike Adapt BB 2.0. I think I got the name somewhat mixed up, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. These self-lacing Nike sneakers. Look at them. They're hideous.
Right. These are like the second coming of like the Back to the Future shoes.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's a $400 shoe. You stick your foot in, there's a companion app, and it'll lace up for you. It makes this like terrible noise. Hold on, let me. Like, I don't know how loud it sounds on your side, but trust me, it fills my entire apartment. It's so loud.
The first time you told me about it, you was like, it's a tortured robot. And it's like, you know what? Okay, kind of accurate.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and it's a shoe that self-laces. That's literally it. There's some lights on the side. It's okay. But like the whole thing now is that Nike is partnering with Google Assistant. So instead of actually having to whip out the app and like adjust your lace tightness level, you can now talk to Google Assistant and ask them to tighten your shoes for you. Just a note, this is for Android phones only. It's not going to work on your iPhone, and it's not going to work on your smart speaker yet. Who knows?
Hey Google, tighten my shoes with Nike Adapt.
It's a good example of something you can do that is like hands-free. It worked, and I was like, okay. But it's also one of those things where, you know, this is a type of technology where it's kind of solving a problem that for most people doesn't quite exist just yet. If your hand is broken or you have mobility or accessibility issues, this could be cool for you and helpful, except it's not really all that accessible because it's $400. So that sort of trade-off there.
Right. So as far as the Google Assistant goes, this is more of like a showcase to show that like, oh, hey, the Google Assistant is capable of doing these things. Maybe let's try to think about how we can apply this to other devices, other technologies, other services.
Exactly. In practice, this is kind of stupid, but it is a proof of concept that, oh, hey, your Google Assistant can actually work with connected devices, and maybe this is like a teeny little baby step towards the Internet of Things not being so crappy.
And this isn't the only service that the Google Assistant is coming to in terms of third parties. You know, what are some other like use cases?
Yeah, so like there's different use cases, definitely. Like to stay on the Nike vein, you can also use it with the Nike Run app, so that if you're, you know, again, too hurried on your way out and you can't possibly launch it on your phone, you can now ask Google Assistant to start your run for you. There's also other stuff like Postmates. You can order a smoothie. You could say something like, hey Google, order me a smoothie on Postmates. No, Google Assistant, stop, don't do that right now. I activated my phone. But
sometimes you're like talking to yourself and you just like say something loud and suddenly like, oh no, Google's actually going to do that. There might be a smoothie showing up at my door. How do you feel about that?
It's a little weird and not exactly intuitive for me. You know, Alexa does it with shopping, and
Sure.
Google, I think, is also trying to do that. So there's some like non-commerce versions of it. So like you can ask Spotify to open up your motivation mix, or you can ask it to open up Discord and Snapchat and Twitter. So it's just kind of like a hands-free way to open some of your apps and do some of the things that you would do normally on your phone. Actually, this is a kind of cool thing that I think Google did, was that it allows you to make shortcuts, because I'm sure you know, like anytime you use a voice assistant, if you forget the exact trigger phase, you can just end up with a lot of, sorry, I didn't get that. Can you say it again?
There's a lot of frustration.
Yeah, so in this case, you can actually program a shortcut with a phrase that you would actually more intuitively use to get it to do the thing, which I think is crucial because I, for the life of me, could not remember some of these prompts when I was testing this demo.
All right, so real talk, the Nike Adapt are kind of like the flagship demo for this. Like, is it worth it? Like, are you more willing to buy $400 shoes because you can control them with your voice?
Absolutely not. This is a waste of money. But like, if I was gonna do it with my own money, like $400 is a lot. $400 I can get an Apple Watch Series 6. There are cases where I think this could be useful, but just this implementation of it, can I just say, I find these shoes very uncomfortable. Like, like the uppers are so tight, and I know I have the right size because I have a pair of dumb Nike high tops, and this is the same size. Actually, this, which fits me perfectly, by the way, and is very comfortable, is actually slightly smaller than this one, and yet this one feels like a small child is strangling my foot the entire time.
It's just like the idea of just being like, I love being able to turn all the lights in my house off just by asking Google. And it's just like, more things I can just like kind of roll into like an off the cuff like remark. That sounds awesome.
It is. It's just not there yet.
Okay, we're not there yet.
No, you know what? And it's actually not Google at fault here, in my opinion. I think Google has done a thing that's cool. I actually think it's the shoe itself. I really don't find it all that comfortable. It just feels like the shoe is trying to suffocate my feet. I wanted to love these. I really did. I wanted to feel super cool, and instead I felt super lame.